Hi, I'm Erin Svelgstein.
And I'm Gary Watts, and welcome to the Growing Tree Education Podcast. This is our first experimental podcast, but it should be pretty interesting, right?
Very exciting. We have a really great set of information for people today, especially parents going into the 2014-2015 school year who have heard about this Common Core thing, but don't really have a lot of knowledge about it.
So what we've been hearing from a lot of parents, I think, is that they don't know a lot about it. So the purpose of the presentation is to present what the Common Core is and how students can keep up with the material, as well as what they can do over the summer to be prepared for the Common Core.
Yeah, we want to help parents in as small of time as we can, because this can actually go on for hours and hours if you really want to talk about Common Core. But what Common Core is, what it isn't, and how it's going to affect your children immediately.
And what we don't want to get into today, I think, Erin, is we don't want to get into the politics behind all this, all the Common Core. There's strong supporters for the Common Core, and there's a lot of parents and teachers and students also against it as well. But what we want to do today is just lay out the facts, and hopefully you've seen the video that's also presented at the link below for the presentation of an introduction to what the Common Core is presented by the Common Core.
Yeah. Common Core, if you have been following it, has a lot of political background, but what we want to focus on is how this is going to affect your kids and how you can prepare them so that they don't have a year of falling behind. Because one of the big things they're saying about Common Core is that they're expecting 30% of kids to do worse than they were doing before.
So, Erin, where did this Common Core come from?
Good question. A lot of people think this is something that has just come up in the last few years, but when you look at the history of what's been going on in education in the United States, this thing goes back about 13 years. So if you have the slide, you're looking at the slide. Slide 1, the timeline. In 2001, No Child Left Behind started. And what that did is told states, look, you cannot have any kids go below proficient level. But what they did, they said, okay, states, so all the kids have to pass, but you get to set the standards. You get to decide what's passing.
So states are basically they just lower their standards to get federal money.
Yes, they didn't want to say they were lowering their standards, but come on, if you have to get all children up to a certain level, either you change everything about the way you're teaching, or you make the teaching come down to where the kids are at. So what happened is we had states all over the map. We have states with really high standards. We have states with low standards. It's all over. So enter in 2007, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation started funding this panel that was coming up with the Common Core standards. So actually, when the Common Core was introduced was even before Obama was elected. Now, he came in and started the race to the top, the stimulus bill, so that now the states not only had to get all their kids up to a certain level, now they had to race to the top and all be the best. That's how you're getting your money now.
Like a performance-based.
Yes, it was absolutely performance-based, and it didn't work because that is not how you help people learn. And the goal of public education is to get kids ready for college. It's to get them ready to learn further. Well, if all you're doing is just drilling information into kids' heads so that your state can look good, they're not learning. So on the surface, the Common Core is a really great idea. I think what happened is things changed so quickly and moved so fast that people didn't have time to adjust. So even though Common Core was released in June 2010, we're just now seeing it. And I don't think a lot of people have been hearing about it for the last few years.
Good. Okay, so now we have this change with Obama and stimulus fund, and states all over the place having different standards. Common Core is coming back together. How many states have adopted this Common Core standard?
Most of them. Right now it is 45. I believe you have a map to look at, so comparing the standards, but most of the states have adopted it now. There's only 5 that haven't. So all the states are on board. And yes, they did get some money. They got a lot of money to become on board. So it's here. And if you're in California, it's here. There's not a lot we can do about that now. What we can do is get our kids ready for it.
Now, what we want to do also in this presentation is just give you very short examples about what the Common Core is going to look like. It's a very different sort of test. Before, the states were testing with the California state testing. Every year, the kids have to go through that, and in their classrooms, they would set aside a time at around May to start testing for the California state testing. That's how states and cities get a lot of funds, and that's how their percent ratings go. But right now, what they're doing is they're trying to get all the states to take a computerized test. They're moving away from paper and pencil to computerized tests. And what this does is it brings in a little confusion. First of all, if you take a look at the slide, there's parts where it's just normal fill in the blank or multiple choice like kids are used to. They would ask a question and then they would ask you to fill in one of the blanks. However, there's a lot of questions that start filling in the answers as well. So kids are going to be required to learn how to type as well. And not only that, but there's some questions that are also going to be where you have to select too. Now, how to navigate around this whole computer system is going to be a challenge in itself. And it's something that in the summer, we really believe that kids should start getting used to. Not just navigating around the test, but learning how to use the computer on a very fluent basis.
So it's not just the new standards as are happening, it's completely new testing.
Yes, and that's what some of the schools are struggling with also, is giving sufficient amount of time for the students to be able to have a hands-on approach to the computer system. And that's what I think in the summer you can. There's a lot of websites out there, and also there's schools out there that provide this training to take a look at the whole test so that they can actually practice and get used to it. And so
what is GrowingTree's plan?
So what we do is all the work that we go through is Common Core standard. If your student is going to third grade, we'll be presenting all the material they'll be learning in third grade already. We want to get kids advanced into the new Common Core standards so they would understand and know what they're expected. When they understand what they're doing, they feel more comfortable with it and they perform better. Mm-hmm. Also, there's going to be testing every week where they get to just play around with the website. We'll do scavengers hunts around the website.
And it sounds like there's going to be a lot of new directions, new instructions that children are going to have to be able to navigate for themselves on these tests.
Yeah.
So what can we do?
I think what we can do, and what parents should be doing, is looking into Common Core standards, asking the principals and teachers about it. Unfortunately, a lot of teachers and a lot of schools districts don't know a lot about it yet. And not only don't know a lot about it, don't support it, so they don't really test towards it. That could be a problem. What you also can do is enroll your kid in a summer school program that is really focused towards the Common Core. Programs like the YMCA and swim classes are great for the summer for kids, but this year is a very critical year for students to really get involved with a program that has Common Core. Because 2014 is the first year, 2014-2015, is the first year that they'll be testing for this.
Yeah, in May, in California, we're using something called the SBAC, which is the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortia, and that is completely computer-based. So kids will need to know how to type, how to navigate their tests, and also it's a lot more open-ended in math and in reading. What we want to do is make sure that kids don't go into this situation, one, having to learn new standards, two, having to learn new ways to do things, and on top of that, have to learn new technical skills that they might not have had before. So if we can get all that stuff going at the beginning, we're not going to see those children who felt so successful last year suddenly feel like they can't do it. And that's just devastating. So we don't need these standards to come in and cause children to not feel capable. Yes. And I think that's the biggest thing that we really want to help with this summer.
Great. So we hope that you had enough information. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Thank you for watching. We hope that we can get another one of these presentations. And please contact us with any questions you have about enrollment, about things you can do at home, or if you just want to know more about this and how you can get more involved.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.